Hello, hello. Okay, so I want to hop on here just really quick and do a really quick video about parasites. So, parasites are super common. They're very, very common. A lot of times people have them and don't even know they have them. But I also specifically want to talk to you about them in relation to autoimmunity and also in relation to another aspect when regards to parasites that I don't feel like is talked about as much. So parasites is obviously like a very physical thing. And when it comes to physical things, sometimes we have this really big habit of saying, okay, this is a physical thing. And so I'm going to put my entire focus on like dealing with it just physically. But I love to remind people that you are more than just a body, and there is so much more to you than just this physical body. So, when it comes to what's impacting you, it's important to look at what's going on mentally, as far as stress. Obviously, if you have an autoimmune issue, your body is not in a place where it's able to repair and heal as it should. It's gone far, far from that. So obviously that's a huge factor, but it's like once the body breaks down like that, then of course it becomes more vulnerable to parasites and to more parasites, and not just only becoming vulnerable to them, but also having a more harmful effect. Because the thing is, parasites are so common and people experience them and have them and probably don't even know it, but not everybody experiences symptoms. And that's, of course, a big difference as well with how your body even responds to the parasites and how they're able to deal with them and having a good response and being able to handle them really well versus not being able to handle them really well. So I love to remind people that your body's stress response is huge. Like even if some of the things that you need to deal with, whether it's mold or parasites, we also always have to focus on getting the body back to a state to where it can be repair, heal, digest, and getting it out of a state of distress. Because as long as it's in a state of distress, then it is super vulnerable to more parasites, but not only just more parasites, but more harmful reaction to parasites as well, which is what we don't want, which is why that other piece of the puzzle when it comes to helping the body repair is so, so crucial. We don't want to do just a little bit, because that makes us take one step forward and two steps back in our process and leaves us always chasing things like trying to fix parasites, trying to fix other types of infections and things like that. But so when I hear other people talk about parasites and getting rid of them, they talk about killing them. And I want to recommend a different approach because our intention and our feelings and our emotion are such a huge part of what we are and what we experience, especially in our physical body. So if you know you have parasites and you're on a track to get rid of them, it's super, super important to have the intention to lovingly release them instead, because even just having the intention of killing the parasites and saying that this thing inside of you is bad, the parasites are going to take on however you feel about them, and that's going to make a lot of people, what may seem like just common detox symptoms are really just a reflection about how you're feeling, because parasites are so absorbent, especially energetically, in that aspect. So if you're like, I've got to kill these parasites, I've got to get rid of them, I would encourage you to take a loving approach and say, I would love for these parasites to just lovingly release themselves from my body and not just be like set on killing them, because our intention just has a huge, huge part in our healing journey. So that's one thing that I want to make sure to encourage you and remind you to do when it comes to your intention behind getting better with these parasites. I also want to, if you're not aware, a lot of times people think parasites are just only in the gut and cause gut issues, but they can actually be in any area of the body. So they can get in your nervous system, they can get in your red blood cells, which those go everywhere. So they can literally affect everything. They can be causing anxiety, depression, stress, right? Which is so, so important to move that body out of that stressful state, because a body in a state of stress, a body in a state of anxiety can't repair. It's just how it works. And so knowing that these parasites can contribute to other things other than just digestive issues is really, really important. So we don't miss things and kind of just kind of be dismissive, right? We don't want to be dismissive. When we're thorough, we get the best results for our health and complete. And it really, I guess I just don't like seeing people continue to suffer because they are either don't know or are ignoring these other components of their health. So when it comes to parasites, obviously, you need to identify what kind, where they are in the body, which can be done through energetic testing or muscle testing. And but also, so not only can we get rid of them physically, which of course the process is to make sure that the body is able to detox really, really well. And so of course we have to open up those detox pathways and get that body back to at least somewhat of a calmer stress response and doing the things that we need to do to kind of lay a foundation and a really good environment to then detox and release those parasites. But also on the emotional side, a lot of times parasites have a lot to do with being in situations or having influential people in your life that you may feel run over by, or that may be essentially like parasitic in your life. A lot of times there are boundary issues when it comes to things like this. So it's important to understand, like, this has been studied, and this emotional component, as well as the physical component, as well as the mindfulness component, right? When we bring in the intentionality of when we're trying to get rid of the parasites, all of those keys are so, so important. And it makes the process go a lot faster, because traditionally, and reduce those symptoms way quicker. Because traditionally, another practitioner that you see might say, oh, it's going to maybe take 6 to 12 months to actually get rid of these parasites. It's like a super, super slow process because of the symptoms. We have to go really slow to avoid those detox symptoms. But with the approach that I take and the approach that I recommend, where we are mindful and when we are intentional, and when we also address that emotional component and correct that and any trauma that's related to that that's making it worse, because there's so much that compounds. So when we only are like, let's just get rid of the parasites, then yeah, it can take 6 to 12 months and the process can be really excruciating and really, really ugly. Not that the process is always like picture perfect, right? But when we look at it from a holistic point of view, and when we say there's more to these parasites than just them being this little thing that's in our body that's causing all of these issues, and we're going to deal with the more aspect in order to get not only like partial recovery but a full recovery from the inside out, right? Because if we think about it, it's like, what good is it to quote unquote be healthy, right? On paper, maybe a teeny tiny slim body, maybe, moving your body like really, really strenuously or whatever, but to have like these, for instance, like anxious thoughts that constantly stress us out, that make us quick to anger, that affect our relationships, that keep us from, maybe getting a promotion at work, whatever the case may be. It's like when health is just so much more than us feeling good in our bodies. It's feeling good in our minds as well. It's feeling good in our souls as well. And when we are committed to all of it, it's such a beautiful process to health and to well-being. So, as always, if you have any questions about parasites, about what it takes to get rid of them, about how to test for them, or anything like that, that is something that is a component of my program that we do. And making sure that we don't have any issues, because we just want to be thorough, and it's incredibly important to be thorough, right? You don't want to just do partial. You don't want to just get a little bit better. You want to get fully better from the inside out, and body, mind, and spirit. And that is the greatest gift that we can not only give to ourselves, but give to our loved ones and even to the world, because it's like when we improve ourselves, that is a gift. It is a gift. It has a ripple effect. When we feel good all the way through, it's like we smile more, and then smiles are contagious, and joy is contagious, and it just has like this great ripple effect on the planet, essentially, and it's a really beautiful thing. So yep, this is just a quick video on parasites. I love to answer questions if anybody has questions, and happy Friday. Have a great weekend.